What's going on, everybody? This is Gen716 back here again, and today we got to talk about this very, very good football game between Ohio State and Clemson. Just a really, really good football game. A lot of controversial calls in this football game, which I'm going to go over in a minute. But overall wise, a really, really good football game. Literally came down to one of the last plays of the game, but was a really, really good football game. So, yes, Clemson wins 29-23 in the really, really good football game. Justin Fields throws the interception in the back of the end zone by Nolan Smith, I believe. That's Nolan Turner. I think his name is Nolan Turner, who catches the interception. But just an unbelievable football game. Gotta give a lot of credit to Trevor Lawrence, man. He earned a lot of respect from me, man. Didn't have the greatest passing day in the world. Of course, the first half, I mean, it was just they just couldn't really do anything in the first half. And these guys were down 16-0, but it was Trevor Lawrence's running ability, not his throwing ability, which damn near got Clemson back in this football game. Now, there was a controversial call which led up to Clemson's score, and that was, of course, the Shaun Wade targeting call. I did not think that was targeting. Trevor Lawrence ducked his head down. I felt like, if Trevor Lawrence never would have ducked his head, I think that would have been a clean football hit and never would have been caught. But because he ducked his head, Shaun Wade got caught. I just didn't think that was a good call. I just don't think that was a good call. And again, you got to imagine yourself going full speed sometimes. Sometimes you can't really correct it sometimes when you're going full speed. I didn't feel like Trevor Lawrence really it wasn't like he was necessarily, it wasn't like Shaun Wade was intentionally going for the helmet. It's not like he was intentionally going for it. I felt like it was a clean tackle. That's what I felt like. I felt like it was a clean tackle. But not only was Shaun Wade their second best coverage corner out for the game, but if Ohio State would have won this game, he was going to be out in the first half against that dangerous LSU receiving core. So I feel like that was I believe that was a BS call, which changed the momentum. It changed the entire momentum of the game because what happened? Clemson scored. It gave the defense life. It gave them momentum. And then all of a sudden, Ohio State, they couldn't really do anything. Clemson got the ball back. And then Trevor Lawrence with his legs. Some great play calling by Connors. But Lawrence with his mobility on a quarterback draw play, 67-yard touchdown. I didn't know he can wiggle like that. I know he has some athleticism. I didn't know if he can really wiggle he wiggled, man. This dude was juking people left and right. Scored that 67-yard touchdown run, and it pretty much brought Clemson back in it. But yeah, that penalty, that was a game-changing penalty. And it wasn't the only one. There was another game-changing penalty, and that was the roughing the kicker. You can make an argument. I don't think that really was controversial. I mean, you can make an argument that it was running into the kicker instead of roughing the kicker because the Ohio State player, he slowed down. It wasn't like he was going full speed and then he just ran through the kicker. You can see that he clearly is slowing himself down, and he actually hurt himself. He hurt himself trying to stop himself. But again, I'm not really. But again, that was a call that changed a little bit of the momentum because Clemson was about to kick the football. Ohio State was about to get some really good field position, but because of that 15-yard play, what happened? Clemson scored a touchdown on that one. Another controversial play was the forced fumble. Now, this one was, I felt like this was a fumble. A lot of people would agree with me, too. This was a fumble. Justin Ross clearly caught the ball. He doesn't need to tuck it away. As long as he's showing that he clearly has possession, it's not bobbling, it's not really moving around too much, which the ball clearly wasn't. Jeff Okudah clearly stripped it. It was a fumble. That should have been a touchdown. That was another momentum type of game-changing type of call that was made. Because ultimately, if Ohio State scored on that play, who knows what could have happened? It could have literally swung into Ohio State's favor. So there was a lot of controversial play calls that was going to Clemson's way compared to Ohio State. Ohio State could barely catch any breaks at all. But we can't blame these controversial calls on the result. Because at the end of the day, Ohio State had a lot of opportunities and they had a lot of chances to win this football game. Ohio State was up 16-0. But the offense never could score, right? Clemson scored off those controversial calls, but Ohio State just couldn't get it going into the fourth quarter, right? They scored 16 points in the first half. They didn't score a touchdown until like what, the fourth quarter. So these guys, so again, Ohio State's offense, these guys slowed down and they just weren't efficient, right? Justin Fields, he threw an interception, which I think led to some points for Clemson. He threw another interception at the back of the end zone, even though you can make an argument if it wasn't his fault. It's still another turnover. They couldn't run the ball. J.K. Dobbins was hurt. He was hurt. He wasn't off 100%. Had a phenomenal football game, but they couldn't run the football when he was out. You just saw that there were some weird play calls that I just didn't like, and you clearly saw the adjustments that Brent Venables and this defense made. They made adjustments. And Ohio State's offense couldn't really adapt and really couldn't adjust until the fourth quarter. They couldn't really formulate a game plan until the fourth quarter. So at the end of the day, even though I'm not the one person to blame play calls. I'm not going to be blaming the play calls. Again, the result is the result. Clemson won this game. Do I honestly feel like Ohio State was the better football team? Yes. I personally believe Ohio State was the better football team. They were. I honestly believe it. But we've seen this thousands of times before that the better team will sometimes lose. The better team will sometimes, they will cost themselves. The better team will make mistakes that the other team just will capitalize on. And Clemson got some breaks. Ohio State didn't get some breaks, but Ohio State didn't capitalize on the opportunities that they had. Clemson did. That's part of the game. But just a lot of credit to this Clemson offense. Got to give a lot of credit to Travis Etienne. They couldn't run the football well. Again, Trevor Lawrence was their running back in this game, had 100 yards. But Etienne, again, kept fighting, had 98 yards receiving. T. Higgins, he had an injury. He came back. He couldn't really have a good day. Justin Ross didn't have a good day. So it was really up to Etienne and Lawrence to help try to carry the team on his shoulders. Just a huge shout out to those guys. Amari Rodgers on that final Clemson offensive drive came really clutch. So got to give a lot of credit to Amari Rodgers for that huge 28, I believe it was a 29 yard run, which ultimately set them up into field position. Got to give a huge shout out to the Clemson coaching staff to making the adjustments coming out of the half was really huge for this Clemson program. What can I say, man, about Clemson? What can I say about Clemson? These guys are going to be playing for their second straight national championship, but not just that. These guys are going to coming into this game 29-0, guys. These guys are coming in 29-0. These guys could be the first team in college football during the college football era to go 30-0. Back-to-back 15-0 seasons, it just doesn't happen, but it could very well happen with this Clemson football program, and it could be an unbelievable accomplishment. So, overall-wise, it will be Clemson and LSU in New Orleans for the national championship game. Two teams that I just did not want to see them in there, but it is what it is. We all knew Clemson was potentially they were championship favorites, at least of going to the game, and LSU, no one really thought that they would. But they're in there, and they're going to have a home field advantage because for the second time in their history, they're playing for the national championship in their home, in their home state in New Orleans, even though they're from Baton Rouge. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really good one. And, man, I can't really wait for that game. I think that's going to be a really good football game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout this time. But, yeah, the semifinal game was exactly what I thought it would be, besides the BS calls. It was a good football game. It was very entertaining. It came down to the last play of the game, and I felt like it was a good battle between the number 2 team and the number 3 team. Normally, when we see the number 1 team and the number 4 team, it's always a blowout. But for this game in particular, we normally see some good games. At least we see some good games there between these matchups. So, yeah, that's all I got. So, we got the championship game next week, and I'm excited for it. New Orleans, Clemson, and LSU. So anyway, guys, if you guys like the video, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel a lot, especially if you want to see more of me, because I always do sports content on a daily basis. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. Jan716. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Happy New Year's.